Hello there, Virgo. Thank you so much for stopping by for your weekly tarot video forecast. This forecast is for the week of March 28th through April 3rd. We are going to start with Saturday and work our way through the week. We're going to pull one card for each day and see what shows up as highlights or as themes. I don't know why I couldn't find that word for a second. So let's just shuffle the cards until they feel like they're done being shuffled. While I'm shuffling, I am going to remind you guys this is a collective reading, meaning that not everything I see here will apply to every single Virgo who watches this video. If you want to get my predictions in writing, which are different, you can subscribe to my newsletter. Those are predictions for my newsletter subscribers. You can find out how to do that on my website. Or if you want to get a private reading where I can look at just your energy only, then feel free to go ahead and reach out and contact me. All my contact information is also on that website, and I would be happy to get one scheduled for you. So, what do we have? What do we have? What do we have? Your cards are down now, Virgo. All right, we're going to start with the weekend. So, in the weekend, we're starting Saturday with strength and reverse. Somebody's skipping a workout. And Sunday, the Wheel of Fortune. We like that card a lot. So, strength card can literally be somebody skipping a workout. It can also be that something comes up that maybe you don't feel like you're at your best doing, that may not be in your wheelhouse, so to speak. Um, but you handle it. You know, sometimes they say it's more important to do something than to be perfect at something. So that could be going on as well. The other thing that comes up here, and this may apply in either one of these cases, is that your self esteem is not quite in that sweet spot I like to talk about, where you're not, being arrogant and you're also not being somebody's doormat. You're just in that nice, sweet, self confident, self assured spot. And so with this card in reverse, this says that you're beating up on yourself a little bit. There's something going on here where your self-esteem is not alignment in alignment with your real value. It's actually lower than that. So you want to pay attention to that if you notice it coming in Saturday, especially if it's because of somebody else saying something to you that makes you feel like you're not worthy, because it's bad when we do it to ourselves too. But also, when somebody is doing that outside of us, is trying to tell us that we're not worthy, we really want to kind of check in about whatever they're talking about. How much influence do we have over whatever they're talking about? And are they kind of the reason things aren't going the way they want to go, the way they want them to go? Because generally, when somebody else is blaming us for something or telling us that we're not worthy, there's usually a whole lot of projection going on. You know how that is. If I've got one finger pointed at you, I've got three fingers pointed back at me, you know? And that's really what this is with this card, is somebody projecting and trying to make us feel like less than, when really they're not living up to their own expectations for themselves. Now let's look at Sunday in a little bit more depth. Wheel of Fortune, we like this card. This is telling me that if you've been waiting for a particular time for something, now is the time, baby. Rock and roll it. Okay. It also talks about this idea that things are working smoothly on Sunday, maybe even more smoothly than usual. And it also talks about that you have, previous to Sunday, taken the time to get ready for opportunities to come to you so that when they do, you're able to grab them and move forward with them. And so now, Sunday, we see those opportunities starting to roll in, and you're grabbing them and moving with them. Good for you. Good for you. You've already done the behind the scenes work to get ready. You know, you've got the education, you've got the systems in place. Now you're just rolling with it. Now let's look at the weekdays. We'll take a peek at each card and then we'll come back and talk about them. On Monday, we have the death card showing up here. Y'all know I would never name this card death. It would be transition. I started to say Tuesday because this is the second time the death card has shown up in just the two videos that I'm working on so far today. So very interesting. Showed up in reverse for Leos. Let's see. You guys have On the real Tuesday, the Ten of Cups. And then on Wednesday, you have the Hanged Man. Thursday, you have the Two of Wands in reverse. We're not stressing about reversals, by the way. And Friday, Two of Cups. Okay. I feel like there's somebody out here that just wants me to put an index on these cards before we talk about them. That's not something I normally do, but we're going to. Okay? So, neutral to positive is how I would rate the Death card. Ten of Cups, positive event. Hanged Man, more neutral. Two of Wands in reverse, more neutral. Two of Cups in reverse, pleasant. Okay? I think somebody was really stressing out there because of that reversal, or maybe because of the Death card. Anyway, whoever that was, if you put a comment down below to acknowledge that, that would help me not feel like a crazy woman hearing people talk to me while I'm recording videos alone in my apartment about how they wish I would make them go. All right, so let's really jump into these cards and talk about them more specifically. Monday, we have the Death card. So, transition. Something is changing, okay? This is some kind of change, and it's a change in our perspective to start with. And when our perspective changes, how we talk, how we act out in the world, that changes. And then when that changes, then how the world reacts to us changes. And so before you know it, this little change in perspective ends up causing a whole big chain reaction to make a pretty big change in our world just because we changed how we look at things. So when that shows up, this could be the beginning of that change, or you could be kind of at the epitome where you're really feeling that change. Either way, that card will come up on either one of those time points. So you guys will know where you are in time with some big change in perspective. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then your perspective is probably fixing to change on Monday. You'll see. For most of you, at least. Everything I say won't be true for every single one of you. Now, Tuesday, you have the Ten of Cups. We like this card because it talks about happiness, and it doesn't just talk about happiness for ourselves. It is satisfaction, fulfillment, and happiness, but it's more for, at least two people, but usually a group of people. This can talk about things are going well for a family, or things are going well for a company, or things are going well for you and your tribe. Okay. Maybe if you're in a motorcycle group and you're going for, I don't know, do they go for rides on Tuesdays? Maybe. Maybe it's a fantastic ride. It could be something like that as well. All right. So next up, Virgos, we had the Hanged Man showing up on Wednesday. This just says you have some kind of situation, you're not exactly sure how you want to handle it. Doesn't have to be a big deal. It's just something that you're just not quite sure what direction you want to take this. So with the Hanged Man, you're taking some time to think things over. You're maybe even meditating about this. You're trying to look at it from all angles. So you're just being patient. You're not rushing forward with a decision here. Now on Thursday, Two of Wands in reverse. Two of Wands in reverse says that you have two choices in front of you. No matter what choice you choose, both of them are fine. There's not a bad choice here. Okay? However, when the Two of Wands is in reverse, you've got somebody in your sphere of influence who is expecting you to make one choice over the other without really, they're kind of assuming that you're going to make this one choice over the other while you may still be debating which way am I going to go. Okay, so you can feel a little bit pushed by this other person or this group of people to make a particular decision. So the advice on that card, if that energy shows up on Thursday, you want to step back a little bit from other people's influence and you really want to decide, out of all of my good options in front of me, whether there's 2 or whether there's 15, that's going to be different for each of you. But out of all of my good options in front of me, which one do I really want to pursue? Which one do I feel passionate about? Which one really makes me feel satisfied and fulfilled? What is going to bring me the most happiness which allows me to spread more happiness to more people. And you want to make that decision. And then once you make that decision, if that happens to be what the other people want you to choose, that's awesome. Now you're all in alignment and you feel like you got to make the choice because you allowed yourself the room to do that. If, however, your choice is not what the other people are expecting you to choose, now they have to adjust to the idea that you have your own free will and you get to decide your things. And they adjust to the idea of, well, am I going to be happy for this person that they've got something going on well that's exciting and looks fun? Or am I going to be a grumpy boots just because they didn't pick the adventure I wanted them to have? Okay, so they're going to have to figure that out. That ball is in their court. It's not in your court. So I would say don't make a choice that that you feel forced to make, because then even if it's a great choice, you'll always resent it. Allow yourself the room to actually make the choice for yourself. All right, and then on Friday, very nice card. This could be date night. Two of Cups talks about attraction, can talk about chemistry. It's kind of getting to know each other type of card. And if it's not about a person, you could find a recreational activity that you want to know more about and participate in more, or a project, or a crafting idea, or any number of things. It doesn't have to be a person, although many times it is. But you have these feelings of, you know what, I want to get more involved in understanding more about either this person, this project, this activity, whatever. Okay, very nice, pleasant way to end the week. So that's what I've got for you, Virgos. I hope you have a fantastic week. If you'd like a private reading, just remember all you have to do is contact me. Contact information is on the website. If I don't see you here for a reading, a Reiki session, or a mentoring session between now and then I will see you guys back on the next video. Peace.